How's it going? I'm Ryan, and today I did not take any trades on NQ. This is 2 days in a row now that I have not taken a trade. Primary reason being the first hour or two of the previous 2 days morning session has been very choppy. So no setups again for me to take. You can see I'm on the Apex, the fresh 50K account. I got it 2 days ago, but like I said, since then I haven't taken a trade. But let's take a look at some of the price action, what happened, and just why I didn't take a trade. We can also review, looking back after the fact, maybe some of the things I could have watched that might have set up an opportunity for a trade, even though the price was choppy. So let's take a look. I was on the 4 hour. We'll pull that up. What do we have? We have yesterday's price action where we have a nice move up. We have yesterday's high and low designated, and then by the green and red lines. The yellow line here we'll see in a second, but that's the pre-market high. And then I have this level that was just based off of some of yesterday's price action, as well as some like after hours and pre-market price action as well. And we'll see how all these played out. So we have, we'll switch this over to the 15 minute. I trade using the 5, the 2, and the 15 minute on these screens respectively, and just kind of helps me get a clear picture of everything. So just looking at the 15 minute, even the 5 minute, you can see the market opens here at 7:30 a.m. my time, and we're just range bound. We're stuck in this range until after about 10:10 a.m. So almost a full 3 hours after market opens do we finally get a breakout above that range, which doesn't really do much before falling back into the range and then kind of gradually selling off. But let's take a look at the morning. So we open, we get an immediate push up and test of both the pre-market high and yesterday's high a day. We close above the pre-market high, but we reject pretty strong off yesterday's high a day. And if I pull up the 2 minute chart here, you can really kind of get, you get a sense of it with the wicks to either side, the length of those wicks, as well as the small like spread of that candle body. But you can tell that there was some pretty crazy volatility. The first 2 minutes look almost identical to this, but you can just see that we were bouncing all over the place. So no trades there for me, right? I'm waiting for price to give me a little bit of an indication of what it wants to do. And based off the first couple minutes, I have no clue what it wants to do. It's going all over the place. From there, we retest that yesterday's high again and reject pretty solidly off of it. We even get that breakdown below the pre-market high, and then we come up and get a retest of that pre-market high, and then we sell off kind of to the bottom of this range. So that level is the one that I drew. That blue level is this one that I drew from yesterday's price action, and then the after hours and pre-market price action. We'll see kind of how that formed a support for today's bottom of the range, and how that pre-market high and yesterday's high really kind of created a resistance for that range. So yeah, we really just chopped in this range. And having known that and looking at, if I pull up this 15-minute chart and we look at this, it's pretty obvious. We have resistance in this area. Like if I draw that pre-market high back, that's a good resistance from yesterday's end of day rally as well. And then yesterday's high of day, you can see we got some rejections up there as well. So really that pre-market high and this level down here played as the key levels. And I think obviously looking back at it, hindsight is 2020. It's a lot easier to identify trades when they're already happened on the screen and you're not watching it in live time. But it was pretty obvious that we were in a range and we were pretty choppy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that there were opportunities to take longs at the bottom and shorts at the top. The thing was that we were having pretty volatile price action, and there's not really any setup that I liked that kind of developed and looked like a nice setup that I would take. It was all pretty sporadic and volatile. So that's why I didn't take the trade. And the spread was pretty narrow if you look at the range that we have, right? If the top is, say 540 or so, and the bottom is, we'll call it, 500 almost even. It's I guess a 40-point range. You could trade that. That's actually 40 points is basically what I'm looking to get, 30 to 40. So maybe I'll eat my words there. If you caught the absolute top and the absolute bottom of this range, you could have had a nice trade, but I don't know. I haven't really been partaking in many rangy trades lately. I want to see rejections. I want to see reversals, breakouts, break and retests. The one trade that I watched happen this morning that I almost considered was this one right here, where we broke down below that pre-market low, came up on pretty low volume here. You see this bounce is pretty low volume. And then we can see that here. Like we have a good, nice green spread candle that almost like engulfs the previous two, or it does engulf the previous two candles. But look at that low volume, right? You'd want to see it be higher volume on that bounce. Or if you're looking for a short, that's what you want to see is weak volume on the bounce. But then we came up on the 2-minute and we got these retests and failure to close above. So that could have been an entry short. I was kind of watching it, but then it happened pretty quick. And I wanted to see the retest on the 5-minute, especially with how sporadic we'd been. I wanted to get a little bit of confirmation on the higher time frame, which, as you see, we dropped within that time frame down to the bottom of that range. So missed out on that. That was really the only thing that I was watching or considered taking. I just didn't. From that point on, I got off about an hour after because I could see the writing on the wall that we were having a choppy day. The other thing that I want to point out, though, and I think that this would have could have gotten me had I been trading this price action. We see what we want to see, right? We see a breakout of multiple levels, the pre-market high, yesterday's high, which also pretty much was today's high. And we see increasing volume on that breakout, albeit it's not super high for the candle that it printed. I suppose it's about similar size to that. But we have good volume on a breakout, and we have pretty good volume on a retest and a hammer. And then a low volume red candle, right? This is all looking pretty good for the break and retest and continuation to the upside. And I think this might have fooled me. I was looking at this and looking at like the 2-minute and trying to diagnose, is there something that's like pretty glaring on any time frame that this was a failed breakout? And I mean, I'm looking at the 15-minute, we get the breakout on the 15-minute on higher volume. We get the retest and kind of like a doji and not quite a hammer on the 15-minute. So that kind of checks out. That doesn't look bad. This doesn't look bad. The 2-minute, I think the only things that look bad are that we got this like hanging man candle right here on pretty high volume, almost as high as the breakout. And then from there, we couldn't break back above that. Like we didn't even wick above it really. I suppose we did over here, just briefly. But you can tell that there's definitely some resistance at that level. And you can see on the 2-minute, we never were able to close above it. So perhaps after a few failed attempts, like this is the third, like 1, 2, 3, and you start coming up and looking a little weak, and like you start to see that volume drop off. That's one thing that I really noticed is the volume's really low once we get that breakout. Everything after that's pretty low volume. And just that inability to like close above that initial point of rejection, right, where we saw some high volume. So that's the only thing I can see, but I think that that's also, like I said, hindsight's 2020. It's a little bit easier to tell when the price is already there, the volume's already there, everything's laid out on the screen. Thinking in real time, it would concern me, but I would think it's looking good. I think just the pure amount of time and the fact that we got such a volume drop off up there, if it's moving sideways for 30 minutes and you're not getting that continuation, I think that might be a clue, right? And then we see it break and return back into this range and then kind of chop its way down the after hours. So we'll see what tomorrow sets us up for. I think it looks like, we made a big move up. If you're looking at the 4-hour, right, we have a big move up, some consolidation, big move up, some consolidation. Now it looks like we're kind of breaking down out of that range. So maybe we see that this is like a local top. We'll maybe see like a little bit of a pullback. Some areas that I'd be looking for is maybe, somewhere in here. I guess we'd have to look at more recent price action since we're at all-time highs to determine some areas where we might find some support, but there's not a ton to be found in here in general. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a rally right back up to where we were, or if we have a little bit of continuation of this pullback into tomorrow and the end of the week. But that's it. No trades for me. Like I said, it's pretty choppy. Could have traded the range, but like I said, it's always easier to identify and when you're looking at things that have already happened as opposed to watching it in real time and just seeing the choppiness of it. And yeah, not really mad that I didn't partake in it. Actually, I'm pretty glad that I can sit on my hands and not trade those things, because I need to. That's the type of discipline and consistency that I need to have to become profitable. Is to not take bad trades and to know when to trade and when not to. So we're hoping that we can keep that up. I haven't taken a trade on this fresh Apex Challenge account yet, but I'm ready to christen it with a win, and hopefully we get some good price action tomorrow. But I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. I trade live Monday through Friday. Stop by, say what's up. Love to have you in the stream, or just watch the videos. I love that too. I hope you have a great day. Peace.